Hi there, Lindsay here, the Frugal Crafter. Today we're going to make a card. I know it's been a while. I hope you're not too shocked, but my daughter Maisie needed a baby shower card for a friend this weekend, and I offered to make one because I love to make a baby card, and I haven't had an opportunity to make baby cards in so long. So, first step was I just went and grabbed things that I thought I wanted to use, and I wanted to keep it kind of simple, although you can see I have a bunch of stuff out. I have just some regular ink pads, and I don't know if I'm going to use these, so I just got my little dewdrops. I can have a lot in a small footprint, and I grabbed a brown pigment ink because I want to stamp on some ribbon, and I know this will work pretty well. So for paper, what I'll often do is I'll start first with the stamp that I want to use. And when I mentioned some ideas to her, I thought I told her that I have some Beatrix Potter Peter Rabbit stamps, but I also have these Flower Fairy stamps, and I knew I had one that had like a little baby and like a young girl, and it has a congratulations, and I thought that would be really cute, and she loved the idea of the Flower Fairies, so we're going to stamp that out. And I have my rocking block because these stamps, I just put Aleene's Tack It Over and Over on them when I bought them. I wish they were still available, but like they were available for like hardly any time. I bought the entire set, and I'm so glad I did because then they were just gone, never to be seen again. But if you look on eBay maybe or Etsy, you might be able to find them. They were by Crafter's Companion, and they were just the Flower Fairy stamps. I wish they would come back. When I was doing my craft room cleanup, you probably saw the video. It's probably the most popular video last week on my channel. I had all these tiny little baby bottle, like I think it was just like table scatter, and I had bought them at the Dollar Tree, I think, thinking I would use them for, or maybe brown and white paper, I don't know, I've had them for ages, thinking they'd be great embellishments, but I had so many, so I saved about a dozen, and then I put any other little baby embellishments like these like diaper pins and pastel safety pins, stuff like that, into a little container, and I thought, that's it, that's all I'm keeping for baby embellishments, because I hardly ever do baby cards. Then I've just got some twill tape. This is what I plan on stamping on, and I'll probably use a safety pin just to pin it to the card because I think that would be really sweet. I've got this Ravel Rose trim that I got at Martin's, 2 for $1, like many years ago. I bought several skeins of every color, and I'm so glad I did. I use these quite a bit on like wedding and baby and Easter and things like that. They're so pretty. It's just a ribbon with these frayed like little roses. It's so sweet. And then I have my Memento large ink pad, but I could have just used a small one. But I wasn't intending on using these ink pads until I started playing with some embossed paper. So this is for stamping our image down, which we'll do in just a second. Then I went through to look at the pattern paper I had and the cardstock I had and whatnot. So I decided for the card base I was going to use a really nice thick cream cardstock, and I believe this is the Park Lane Heavyweight from Joann. I like their cream cardstock, but honestly I have to say I prefer the Michael's Recollection Heavyweight cardstock the best. It's usually a little bit more expensive because Joann's always has really great sales and stuff, but they have a white and a cream I really like from Michael's. Actually, I like cream from both places. The Craft, I think I prefer the Craft. I like the Craft from both places, honestly. So, but getting the heavyweight is really important for your card bases, especially if you're going to do a lot of embellishing. I have half a sheet of Nina White Classic Crest cardstock because I'm going to stamp that with Memento and color it with alcohol markers. I want to have a alcohol marker friendly paper. Now for pattern paper, I don't know, I'm obviously not going to use all of this, but I just saw this little happy birthday note paper, like music notes. I thought that was kind of pretty. Maybe I'll use it, probably not, but I thought I would just grab it because it's in my stack, and I organize my supplies by theme, so I have like vintage and graphic 45 and papers that kind of feel like that same theme together. Anna Griffin I would put in that category, and so I'm not even sure what all these brands are, but I just grabbed papers that I thought would work really well with the theme. I think I'm going to make a three-dimensional envelope out of this paper because it's such a pretty pattern. I love the glitter on there, and it's going to be hand delivered, so I don't have to worry about like how thick it is, how heavy it is. I thought that would really stand out and be pretty. Then I've got this gorgeous paper here. This is when Graphic 45 licensed the Flower Fairy designs. I bought I think a sheet of everything, but this is like little postage stamps of the little fairies, so I'll probably cut off one of those for an embellishment. I also have this paper, also Graphic 45. It's so hard when you find a really beautiful paper, especially if it's double-sided. It's like, oh, how do you use it? But like, I'm very stingy with this, and I save every scrap because it's so pretty. Then I've got this. I got a couple sheets of this one actually because I've used this quite a bit. But I just thought it was kind of pretty. I love that storybook theme. I don't know if I'll use it because it's very ornate in and of itself. Where I'm going to be stamping and coloring an image, that's going to be like that could just be the front of a card. Honestly, it's so pretty. I also grabbed this scrap of doily paper that I think might have been, it was either like an American Crafts brand or maybe Cosmo Cricket. I'm not sure, but I thought it was pretty and a little bit of that might be nice. And then this, oh my gosh, look at this sweet Graphic 45 paper. This, I paid $1 for it. I just love all these little alphabet little postage stamps. I love postage stamps. This is from way before the big postage stamp stamping trend. I feel like that trend comes and goes so like every like 10 years or so. And like probably 20 years ago, it was like making your own postoids. Then it was like pattern paper with the postage stamps on it. Then it was like the dies and the stencils to make your own postage stamps, which is kind of like going back to the postoids, but with like dies and stuff. So anyway, that's what I got for pattern paper that I'll also be using for somewhat embellishment. I have my Score Pal, because I'm actually not entirely sure what size card I'm going to do, but I was thinking probably 5x7. And I preferred the full-size scoring boards to the Score Buddies, but everybody's different. A lot of people prefer the Score Buddies. So then I was thinking I'd love to have some texture, and I remembered that I had these Anna Griffin. These came in like a, it was kind of like a, you know when somebody was like destashing and they give you a bunch of stuff? That's what this is from. Somebody was destashing and they gave me these embossing folders, but they're actually kind of like letterpress because you get, and actually there are dies that fit in the middle if you want to do like little overlays. They're so pretty. Everything Anna Griffin does, I feel like, is so timeless that I would be very hastened to get rid of any Anna Griffin product if I liked it. You know, obviously if I didn't like it, I would pass it along. But if it's something I like, I feel like it's something I would like in 20 years, you know, because her design sense is so strong. You can look at an Anna Griffin book from like the 80s or 90s and it's still going to be just as relevant because it's not trendy. It's more timeless. Anyway, that's how I feel about her design. So I embossed a couple of these. It took me a couple tries to get exactly the right sandwich because they are such a thick thing. Since they're so thick, I just used I just took out a plate basically and used a regular die sandwich. And I should have got out my other die cutter because my Big Shot's very old and has uneven pressure. But I think I might just cut out some of these bits and like maybe ink them up, cut them out and add them in as a little border or something. I don't know. So anyways, I embossed those and they're there. I just brought the folders over so you could see what they look like. They're kind of neat. And it's fun to like play with your old stuff. Oh, this this right here, I actually went ahead and cut a couple of these because I thought, I really love this die. It's one of my favorites, and I think it's by Cherry Lynn. This is what it looks like here. If you know, you can let me know. I'm sure it's long discontinued because I've had it for probably 12 years, but just a really pretty die. And I just love how, again, it's timeless. It's just a very dainty swirl. I can tuck it in behind something. So I just cut 2 of them out from some thin kind of moss green cardstock. I thought that would be really easy to integrate. And then I grabbed a few dies that I thought might be fun to cut and add some 3-dimensional embellishments. So these are rolled flowers. So you cut it out and you roll it up and it makes a 3-dimensional flower. Oh, that's what they look like. This one makes a peony. This one makes just a generic flower, I guess. Those are really fun and cute. And of course you could just use decorative edge scissors and cut something and cut a spiral out and do the same thing. So you don't need to have these dies. This was by Quilled Creations, which was is a company that makes quilling patterns and quilling tools. And there was one more die and I had no idea what happened to it. It's like crazy. I think I'd flung it or dropped it or something. I could never find it. It's the weirdest mystery. Maybe one day I'll find that. When I move the studio upstairs to the addition, when the kids are all moved out, I'll find it. And then these are some dies that I bought at a stamp show from Elizabeth Crafts. And I think they had a deal where it was like buy 3, get 1 free, or buy 4, get 1 free or something. Probably buy 4 and get 1 free. And the reason I got these were actually, if you flip them over, you'll see that the shapes are all a little bit different. So when I was buying them, I was looking not at the finished project, but also the die to see the variety of different plants I could make. And they're really nice dies. I don't know, these are probably too big for my card, but I thought I would just pull them out. So if I need something, I'll just remember that they're here and I could use it. I think I like the carnation. I don't know, carnations seem really sweet and babyish. So do peonies. So do, like, I don't know, stuff that with like lots of fluffy textured flowers I think look really cute. And then another idea I had was I love that little branch from this Tim Holtz Thin List Dies. And of course, there's all those little flowers you can stack up and make three-dimensional flowers. So there's a lot of things that will work for the same thing, honestly, whether it's cutting a spiral with decorative edge scissors or using a die. I'm just kind of hoping this will help you get your creative juices flowing too. And as you see me play with these supplies, maybe you'll be like, oh, I can use this, I can use that. And you'll pull out some things and craft along with me, because, you know, I swear it takes me as long to make a card as it does a large painting. So we'll probably be here for a while. And I just thought this was kind of pretty. This is a die from Apple Blossom. I used it in some Alice in Wonderland projects, but I even thought like that as a frame might be pretty. I gotta see how big that die is though, because something tells me. Oh, and I have a little note on here, use it with a precision base plate because it's such an intricate die. I usually, and I don't tend to use these too often because they're kind of a pain. But if you look at the size of that, I was thinking just that done in a really solid, just plain color, maybe with not a lot of contrast layered behind my image might be cute. Maybe I could even put the flower fairy sitting on the, you know, sitting or standing on the wreath. So that was a thought I had too. This is a little bit Christmassy because it's got pine cones in it, but if I just did it out of like a soft, like tan color, I don't think it would matter. Or a soft pink. So anyway, that's just an idea. I don't know. I probably won't use half this stuff, but let's get going. Let's get going. First thing I'm going to do is some stamping, and I've already started to set things on the floor. So I've got my little spongy mat here. I use this mat for everything. I probably should have a separate mat for paper piercing and one for stamping, but I've been using this for a long time and it's still working just fine. I'm going to put my cardstock there, and I'm going to put this on my block. My janky looking block. And I'll probably stamp it a couple times just because if I mess up, I've got an extra. And I might, I was just thinking I might try to cut it out with my scan and cut. We'll see. We'll see. It's hit or miss. It's hit or miss with the scan and cut. So I've got my Memento Rich Cocoa. Again, I could totally just use the dewdrops, but since I brought this out and it will be quicker, I'm just going to use that. Now I do buy re-inkers for my ink pads, especially my mementos, because I use those a lot. But any ink pad that you rely on, getting a re-inker is going to save you so much time and trouble, because then you're not going to have to go buy a new ink pad when you go dry or order one. You just re-ink the pad. And I've re-inked this so many times. I've had this pad probably, oh gosh, probably 15 years. Okay, so the reason I like these blocks is because you get a really good impression, because it makes you have really good contact with the paper. And I still go slow because I want time for the ink to transfer. Oh, beautiful. First time. Can I get another one on there without messing this one up? Now there's the question. I don't know if I want to. I don't think I want to risk it. Honestly, I'm not going to risk it. That's a perfect stamping image. Maybe I'll cut this one out and then stamp the other side, because I'm like, I don't want to risk. Yeah, see, I don't know if I can fit that on there. And this is where I get kind of, can I fit that on there again? I think I can. Can I? Ooh. Maybe. Well, I didn't want to risk stamping over that one and messing that perfect impression up. But yeah, I really like this. I don't think you can get this mount anymore. Well, actually, you know what? I know you can't, because the company that made it just went out of business this fall. But I think it had been, they hadn't been stocking it for a while. Crafter's Companion does make a rocking block. I think it's called Rock-a-Blocks. This is called the Mega Mount, but theirs I think is called Rock-a-Blocks. And I do have some, and they're pretty good. They're meant so you don't have to mount your stamps. You can just put adhesive on the back like I do here. And I like them. They've got little rockers on them so that you don't wobble. But I don't know. I like this one because I have a little bit more surface area. Wow, that one came out perfectly too. Great. Okay, I've got 2 chances to mess it up. Awesome. Alrighty, so I think I want to figure out what size card I want to make. I've got a full sheet of the cream cardstock, and I was thinking a 5x7, but because I don't have to mail it, I think I might do a square card. I think that might be kind of pretty. So we could do 5.5 by 5.5. You do something like that. I think that would be kind of cute. Let's measure this and see how big we have it. This is, oh, you know what? This image, that is almost 5. Let's see, that's 4.25, right from the widest part of it. 4.25. That's going to take up a lot of the image, but still, I think it would be really pretty. Let's do it. Let's do a square card. Why not? If we don't have to mail it, let's do a square card. All right. So where is my cardstock? I am going to trim this down on my paper trimmer, and I'll be right back. All right, I trimmed my paper in half, and I also scored it. So because when you're working with this thick paper, you definitely want to make sure that you score it. And I'm just going over with that fold with my bone folder here. And let's just see about how big. Oh yeah, that'll be nice. That'll be nice. Okay, well, let's zoom in and do some coloring. Why not? I've pulled some marker colors already, just from the little rack I have behind where I sit during Sat Chat, if you're familiar with that. I didn't have a swatch, so I just kind of swatched out colors as I went and found some that I thought would work really well. And I'm going to start with, I think I'll start with a little blouse here that she has on. I think this is my lightest color. I think dark, medium, light. Let me just see. Yeah, this is a pretty light color. I'm going to go in and just kind of prime it a bit, which is when you go in and you just get some color down. And then I'll go in with my dark, I think this is my darkest color. Add some shading. Kind of under the hair, under the wings. Going with my medium color. And the nice thing is that when you work with alcohol markers, you'll notice that they all play pretty well with each other, all the different brands. And then I'm just going to go over that last little bit again. Make sure it blends out nice. I only do connecting areas, and that just gives you a little more time to blend. I think out of the open stock variety, the kinds that you can just buy one at a time, my preference is probably Alta New, because you can get refills for them. You can for the Blicks too, but Alta New has a fine tip and a brush tip. Now for budget wise, I'd probably say go with Ohuhu, but I do like the neoprene nibs that these have a little bit nicer. All right, I like that. That looks pretty good. While I'm at it with the greens, I think I'll do the leaves. So I'm going to start in, I'm just going to go right in with the darkest color towards the center. I can do a couple at once because I've gotten a good feel. I know that these blend pretty well. I don't recommend, I don't even know if they make these anymore, but I don't recommend the Stampin' Up! Ones because they fray. They're a fiber tip. I mean, they get the job done. They're alright, but they just feel like they're going to fray on me quite a bit. And, you know, anytime you're getting into a neoprene marker, the price is going to go up. But I think the Stampin' Up! Ones were kind of expensive for a fiber tip marker, especially since you can get Ohuhus for less. I think anytime you buy from a, I wonder if I want that stem to be brown. I'm just going to do a green. I think anytime you buy from, you know, the kind of direct sales, multi-level marketing type things, you do pay. You pay more because, you know, they're factoring in, the company's going to make their price on it, and then you're factoring in that, you know, the salespeople need to be paid, and And then all the people kind of in the middle will need to get paid. So, which I think is worth it if you're going to if you're getting a class out of it or something, but I'm going to go in with that darker color a little bit more just to deepen up. And then, let's see, the little baby here is sitting on a leaf, so I want to make sure it's darkest right where the little baby is sitting, and there's that little bit of shadow. Always turn your work so that it's comfortable. Now I'm not wearing my reading glasses, I'm wearing my progressives right now, and I probably will switch soon because that is the best, like I swear it's the best art supply, has been getting a pair of dedicated reading glasses. It's just my full reading prescription. That has been the best money, the best art money I've spent in the last couple of years. I actually bought a couple other pairs, backup pairs, so that I can have one upstairs in my bedroom. I can have one on the main level of the house, and then I've got a set for down here, and that has been the best money spent. I think I want to go a little darker with those. So I'm going to go in with this green. It's a little bit darker. I just feel like I need more shading. Now, alcohol marker, I like this cardstock for alcohol marker. It's Nina Classic Crest. A lot of stamp stores will actually sell this by the sheet or by small packs. I get it from, I just get a big ream of it on Amazon, and it lasts ages. But I only use it for alcohol marker coloring, so it lasts a long time. I haven't had any issues with like sizing going bad on it, which I'm not sure if that happens with the marker paper, like it does watercolor paper, but I haven't had any problems with it. If you want one paper that will just work with all the different types of markers you have, I would recommend Bristol. It's not as good as this, as the Nina for marker, but in my opinion, but it is pretty good. And I like this a lot because it's so smooth for stamping. I think I got the regular smooth. They also have super smooth. I can't remember which one. Can't remember which one I got, but it doesn't matter. They're both good. It does bleed through, so I'm always going to be layering with this. Okay. I think that looks pretty good. So now I just got to figure out what colors I want to do. I've got some fairly light beigey tones here. I've got to swatch them out real quick because the caps look so similar. Oh, that's a really nice blushy, fair blushy pink. Okay, I'm just going to put them in the order I swatched them in so I don't get confused. Okay, that's like that one, but a little bit lighter. And that one would be the darkest. So this would be just kind of a blush. Maybe I'll set that one aside because I might use one of my corally pinks for a blush. So I'm going to go in with my darker color first. These are weird. I don't know where I got these. I think they were a prototype, but like the brush indicator's on the wrong end. I'm going to do this leg in the back first. And blend it out. And the leg in front, I'll just go do the lighter color, then I'll do the blending sequence over again. Just do a little shadow under the skirt, maybe under the knee a little bit. Now, one thing I've done in the past that works really good is I will use like a label, and I will swatch on a label and I will stick them on the markers. And honestly, I should do that from the markers behind me, just because I have so many different brands, and there's no way I'm gonna keep some like elaborate swatch card with all the different numbers. but I haven't done that. That would be a good idea. I've done it to some sets. I should just leave these uncapped until I'm done. Yeah, why not? I like these Blick Studios a lot. I wish that Blick would release, because I bought the 96 set way back in the day. I wish they would release a booster set, because they've come out with like 48 new colors. I wish they would do a set just of the new 48 colors, so that I could do that and get the extra colors. And they have refills too. I'm not sure if they have refills for all the colors or just the first 96, but I think they're a good buy, especially with the fact that they have refills. So sweet. I want to get a little blush on there. I'm going to try this color here for a blush. I don't think that's quite dark enough. Let me see what this color looks like. Oh, I think that one will be nice. And I also think I need a little bit more shadow on her face. Oh, I didn't get hair colors. I think the arm needs a little more shadow too. And probably the leg. It's a little dark. It's a little too fair, I think. When the colors dry, they get a little bit lighter. I gotta find out what color the mother's hair is. I think I want to do the hair like her color. I think that would be neat. We'll do the wings in like a bluish purpley color. This periwinkle and light periwinkle from Blick. And I think I'll start with the light periwinkle just because I don't know. Blues and purples are tough to blend, so... And the brush ends I find are easier to blend with than anything else. You don't have to make it too complicated, just get two colors that look really similar and go from there. There, I think that looks really cute. I'll probably put a little glitter on the wings because I have this really neat little glitter pen that I think would look really cute on that. Obviously, mama and baby that have the same color wings, I would think. Or sister. Actually, you know what? It's probably sister and little. It's probably big sister, little sister. All right, I keep doing I'm going to do the baby's skin while it is. Oh, I got the markers out. That one looks quite dark. And blend it down a little bit. Blend that right up into the hairline, actually. I want to get a little bit of that blush pink. Oh, you know what? I think that was my... This is my lightest color. I think I got them in the wrong order. Go back in with a little bit more pink on the cheeks. And let's see, this was E31. Yeah, the baby is up higher. I'm getting less, like, in less shadow. So I think I don't need that darkest color. But that's alright that I had that right under the bonnet because that would be darkest. And then when I put some of the hair in there, and I just double checked, the mother's hair is brown, so that'll work out fine. Don't freak out if you get the wrong, if you put the wrong color down. That happens. Just blend it in. You can use a lighter color over a darker color with alcohol markers, and it will lift up it'll lift up the darker color. And you can always layer up if you don't have quite enough colors. You can, you know, layer up a light color a few times to get a little bit darker. All right. Now I can cap these up. Just make sure I get them in the right order, or get the right caps and the right markers. All right. So for hair, I have got 3 different colors here. I've got E29 and E37 in Copic, and I've got a Y12 in Ohuhu. And I've also got a dark E49 if I want to do some darker brown, but I'm going to see how this looks first. A lot of times I just kind of follow the shading on the stamp to figure out where I want to put the different colors. I'll use kind of like a flicking motion. Oh, this one I feel like I might need to replace a nib here. It's feels like it's extended a little bit too much. Somebody accused me of being rough with my markers in a blending video, and I thought that was strange. I don't feel like I'm rough with them at all, but maybe I was using the clear marker for blending of the chisel end of the clear marker or something. Can't really see much of the baby's hair, so I'm just going to do a little bit of that kind of redder brown. Well, that one looks a little darker. I must have brought that one over for a more darker tone. Yeah, I definitely don't need the dark bark. I feel like this is dark enough. It will obscure my lines if I go too crazy with it. And I'm going to fill in with that lighter color. It seems like she's got like a little bit of a crown on there or something, but I think that'll be something to do with the metallic gel pen or something later, because I can't really tell what it is. So if you don't know, don't color it. And I might go in a little fine liner to pull in some little strands of hair, but I think that looks pretty cute. All right, now for the little dress here, I think I want to do this kind of peach. Let's see how these colors blend. I could probably leave the yeah, I'm just gonna leave the caps off then while I'm working. Blends are very effortless with this paper, so I can do dark to light pretty easily. Leave that off. my dark colors in there first, where it's kind of like overlapping or where I have shadow marks. This is just about the same color, maybe a little bit lighter, but it's got a little bit more of a coral tint to it. Just like a step lighter. When you're choosing markers, if you're buying open stock and you're trying to get a good variety, try to get 3 colors in every family. So if you like coral red, for instance, get like a dark, a medium, and a light. I also recommend getting a full set of grays, because your grays, you could do something in like monotone and then just tint over it with a color, and that looks really nice. And also you can use gray, especially cool grays. I find cool grays to be the most useful. You could go in and you can shade something with a gray if you don't have just the right color of marker. And you can also use your colored pencils to go in and shade your images if you don't have like that many colors. I would say go with your lighter colors first, because you can always layer them up to get darker colors to, you know, to an extent. I think that's such a pretty blend and so easy. But you know, it's just a nice way to be able to get a lot of bang for your buck, in my opinion. I think I'll use the same colors on the baby's little jumper. I think that would be really cute. Yeah, because I don't want her to blend in with the leaf. And I do know the baby's a girl. Ooh, almost dropped that marker. Boy, that would have been a tragedy. Then I would be glad that I had the extra one printed. So wherever I see the fabric kind of poofing up, then that's where I would have it. I'd leave it light, and then I'd go over with the lighter color here and blend those colors together. And plus, when you're working with really light pastel colors, they're pretty easy. Pastels are great to learn with, great to work with. A little bit of that pink. Okay, so then the little sweet pea bonnet. What color do I want that to be? I picked out these kind of purpley tones, but I'm wondering if that's going to be if that's going to look weird. So why don't I swatch them and then hold that paper next to it and see what I think. Where did my little swatch paper go? Let's see if that's going to look weird. I've got these 3 colors here. I thought they were kind of pretty. You can always add a little bit of that in the wings too. Maybe that would be all right. I think it would, but I think I need to add a little bit of this color, one of these colors into the wings if I'm going to do that. There. If I add that into the wings, I think that'll make the bonnet work. Okay. Was that my darkest? Or was this one? That one was my darkest. I'm going a little bit more of that. medium color a little bit. And then I need my lightest color. I think this is the lightest one. Oh, that one's also much pinker, which I think will be nice. Are you bored yet? Oh my. I think I want some more shading. Let's go in with that dark periwinkle color from the wings, actually. And a little shading from that there. I think that looks pretty good. I think that helps blend it in a little bit. And that's the thing also about color theory. If you don't have the right color, or it seems like you've got some areas that are discordant, like they're not matching, they're kind of clashing a little bit, then just go ahead and overlap. These are all transparent colors. I think I'm going to give her purple eyes, but you know what? I'm going to use a marker that I have that has a fine tip. They could give her a little bit of color in her lips too. I'm going to use, yeah, I think that'll work. Oh my gosh, that's freaking cute. Oh, I gotta do these little slippers on the mama / older sister. There. Now I think I'm going to see if I can cut this out with my scan and cut. And I won't be able to cut the inside parts out. I'm sure there's a way to do it. I just don't know how to. But what I often will do in that case is after I've got the card pretty much put together, I'll see what color would be in the background and I'll just marker it in so that I don't have to cut it out and I've got a nice stable piece there. So that's what I'm going to do right now. I'm going to pick up my markers and cap them all up and we'll see you in a second. All right, a couple tips for using a scan and cut. Now this was probably wasn't even necessary, but I figured I would do it just before I went ahead and scanned it. I grabbed a pen because I wanted to do some individual strands there. But then I just went ahead and did a quick outline on the piece because I wanted just to make sure that it's going to register the edges, because the scan and cut works by scanning the image and making a line around it, basically. And that just helps it if it's going to struggle. Like if you have a stamped image that has a broken line, like the line isn't, like it's a little sketchy, a lot of kind of your vintage stamp designs will be like that. So yeah, just connecting it with either a pencil mark, or I just like to use a pen because a matching color ink will fix that. And then I also tape my paper down to my mat. Now this is my original mat. I've had my scan and cut. I know I had it since 2016 anyway, maybe even before that. So it's been at least 9 years that I've had this. So that's crazy. Isn't that crazy? Or between 8 and 9 years, maybe longer. Since, I mean, I was one of the first adopters, but I didn't have the original scan and cut. I got the scan and cut 2, model CM350, and I'm still using my same mat that came with it. And like last year, I cleaned it with alcohol. I think it took everything off of it, all this old sticky. Then I taped it down and I put a watered down coat of Aleene's Tack It Over and Over on it to make it sticky again. And then I just keep this, I keep the original film over the top, and I use a little binder clip to clip it and hang it up. And I have had no issues. So here we go. Now I think there is a way that I could have scanned it and then had it cut out all those little bits and pieces. But yeah, I'm pretty sure I saw a tutorial. Julie Faye Fan Balzer showed us how to do it, but I'm just gonna use a marker to color it in to match whatever I have in back of it. But that's so much better than I could cut out by hand, and I think it looks absolutely adorable. All right, now I'm gonna get my stuff all situated so we can make our card. I actually had a change of plan here. This was so pretty that I thought I don't really want to cut it down. I thought that would be really pretty to have on a larger card. So what I'm going to do is actually I found a marker that matches the cardstock color really well, and I'm going to color in all of this white cardstock so it looks like it is cut out, you know, because you'll see the other color through. So that's what I was talking about, like having that, you know, if you have a scan and cut and you're using it to cut the outside, just find a marker that's similar to your background paper and color in the inside so you don't have to mess around with an X-Acto knife cutting out that center part. I mean, it's really subtle, but it's gonna match. And so then I went and got another piece of cardstock, and I decided to make a 5 1/4 by 7 1/4 card, because then I'll have a little bit more room to decorate and it won't be so cramped. Because when I was looking at the whole image, I'm like, that's really pretty. I don't think I want to cut it and piece it together when, you know, it looks so nice as it is. And then I'll have room to like layer on the raveled rose trim and any other little embellishments that I want to put on there. So this is a nice reason to have a lot of different markers at your disposal, because then you can color match as needed. The only downside being is that alcohol marker fades. But I know a lot of people like to keep like baby cards and like their keepsake baby books and stuff, so that's another reason I kind of like to go all out with the with baby cards there. I think that matches pretty well. It's a little bit darker right now, but it's still wet, so when it dries it should be about right. Alright, so this is the cardstock I cut down. I am going to score that and fold it at 5 1/2 inches. I'll zoom out a little bit. Oops, sorry, out of focus. Yikes. Real-time card making. Any regrets? Probably. Okay, so that's a 10 1/2, so I need to score it at 5 1/4. And since I'm going to make my own envelope, I can, you know, I can make my card whatever size I want, and it's going to be hand delivered, so I don't have to worry about all of that. I do use the scoring tool that came with my scoreboard before doing that, but then when I want to go over and make sure it stays nice and flat, then I'll do that with my lovely Teflon bone folder. Okay. Another thing I thought would be really pretty would be to distress the edges and maybe do a little bit of inking. I don't know. I don't think I really need to ink this. This design is so crisp. It's actually so crisp that part of the cardstock actually cracked in there. So I'm just using this little, you could use an edge of a pair of scissors. This is nice because it's enclosed. I like the little tattered texture it gives it, but if you don't like that, then you don't have to do it. That's just like with anything, you know, if you don't like it, don't do it. This one is Heidi Swap, but I think Tim Holtz has one. This is old, and that's the thing with your tools are going to last if you take care of them, more than likely. I mean, sometimes things wear out. Like I was mentioning my die cutter, how it's starting to get a little, like, the pressure is a little uneven. And I actually have a replacement, but I'm so used to how the Big Shot works that I just keep using that, which is kind of ridiculous. But when I don't make cards that often, so it's like I don't want to have to remember and relearn something where it's like, it's kind of like why I'm using my old computer, even though I've got a new one ready to go, because I don't know how to use the new software. I'm going to kind of dog ear the edges there. And that looks neat. Ah, I love it. It looks nice and old. Which side do I know? I could use either the debossed side. This is the debossed side. It's the indented side. Or I can use the embossed side, which is the raised side. I usually go for the embossed side, but obviously you can do whatever you think looks good. If you think the embossed side was too outrageous, ooh, that's too much texture for me. you can use the debossed side. So what I'm going to do now is just kind of lay things out and see how it's going to look, and then decide whether, excuse me, oh my goodness, I had a little burp there, how embarrassing. And see, that's not ladylike like little flower fairies, not at all. What is going on? And looking at that, like, kind of decide, do I want some more color on that background piece, or do I like it white on white? It's kind of hard to tell on camera because it does look really bleached out. But I think, I don't know, I tend to go for color, personally. But gosh, that's kind of pretty too. It's almost like you get all this and it's like, do I even want to do the extra things? Do I want to do the most? Or does it look better kind of just like this? All right, so I want to stamp congratulations on some twill tape here. I'm going to find a nice spot that's kind of not too wrinkled, and I don't know if I can cut this with my janky scissors. I might need my fabric scissors. Oh, that's alright. Okay, and then congratulations. That, or new baby. New baby or congratulations. Congratulations on your new baby. Oh, do I want to do new baby? I was going to do congratulations, but now I'm thinking new baby might be better. I'm going to do new baby. New baby. Okay, so when I am going to stamp on fabric, I want to use a pigment ink. And I'll probably, because this fabric's a little bit, it's a little bit wrinkled, I'm going to iron it after I stamp it, and that will do the extra. I'm just getting the ink off the edge of that. It'll do the extra work of making it, oh, for goodness sake, I should have trimmed this better. It'll do the extra work of heat setting it while I'm at it, so I'm just going to stamp it somewhere in the middle here. And I'm just holding it down, giving it time for the ink to transfer. I'm thinking, do I want to do like a green if I ink any of the background? Do I want to do like a tan? Do I want to do a pink, like a corally pink? I'm not sure. I'm really not sure. Oh, look how well it's stamped. That's so sweet. Okay, so I'm going to go iron this and think about colors, and we'll see you back in a second. I took one of the scrap embossed pieces, and I just kind of tried a few different colors on there to see what I thought of like each possibility. I think I kind of liked the brown, but I don't know if I want that much on there, but I do kind of like it. Or I might even do like a combination of the brown and the green. I think the pink was just a little bit too pink. So I don't know, it is pretty to just have the white, but I don't know, I like to have a little extra color. So I think I'm going to start by taking this desert sand little ink pad and kind of just hitting the edges. And I can always just kind of add a little bit, add a little bit, add a little bit, and see what I think. You know what I mean? Because I like that. I like that. Do I want a little more? Maybe a little bit of green. All right, let's get our inking stuff out here. Oh, you know what? I think I'm going to have a big... I have a big one for green, so I'm going to use that. These inking tools are by Craft Stash. You can find them. You can actually find ones on Amazon that are like in a set, and they have a like a color-coded handle, which I think would be handy because I've got some brushes that just have the black handles, and I've got some the colors. I really like the color ones. It just makes it a lot easier to, you know, grab the right color, because I don't clean them unless I use like pigment ink on them, and then they need to be cleaned. maybe I want to go a little bit deeper with my green too. I hope this is helpful. I mean, maybe you're doing a project alongside me. Now I feel like I could go a little bit darker. I'm going to do bamboo leaves, which is a kind of like a sappy green color. These little dewdrops, actually, they don't need to be re-inked too often. I get my re-inkers for these. I haven't bought them in a long time because, you know, a bottle of re-inker is like, gives you so many ink pads worth of ink, and for the amount I stamp, I haven't had to reinvest. But I got mine at Joann's. They had like they do these like 40%, well, they used to, I don't know if they still do or not, but they would do these like 40% off all stamping supply sales, and so I'd go in and get my re-inkers at that time, and it was a great deal. I mean, it's not the most interesting and fun things to spend your money on, but those are the things that are going to last. Those are the things that are going to make your investments last. I know it's fun to get a new stamp set. That's exciting. I'm going with that lighter ink over the raised area because now I'm like, I want more color. It's kind of crazy, I know. It's like, it was so elegant before, but I'm not an elegant girl. I am more of a bold, bright type of person, I guess. You know? I like that. I think that looks really sweet. Maybe a little bit more of the brown to kind of distress it a little bit on the edges. Distress inks would work really well for this too. Honestly, any dye ink, nice fast drying dye ink is going to work well. And any embossing powder, not embossing powder, embossing folder. Do you have embossing folders? Look for something that's got kind of an elegant design. It's going to look great. You know, you don't have to have the exact same stuff to get a very similar look. And in fact, I would encourage you to buy what you like and not necessarily what's trendy or what people are trying to sell at you. Get what you like, and those things are going to be in style. Oops. All right, let's dry this up, clean up my mess a bit, and then we'll come back and start assembling. Okay, I lied. We are not to the clean and assemble stage yet. We are at the, I decided I needed a couple more embellishment stage, and I'm going to use this coral ink. I just die cut some of these little flowers. Now, like I said before, if you don't have these little die cuts and you want to do it, just take decorative edge scissors and cut a spiral, honestly. I'm going to use these because I have them, but that will work just as well. Or you don't even have to use decorative edge scissors. You can do it just, it's called rolled roses, just cut a spiral. It's the same thing, basically. It just has a little less flair, but it's going to be just as cute. So, you know, just do what you want to do. Use a flower you already have from like some other embellishments, some Prima flowers, whatever. I don't even know how many of these. I'm thinking probably 3. But I wanted a little bit of extra pink on there, but I didn't want to go like super duper pink. I don't know. There. I like to do that because it gives, adding the ink, it lets you match it to the stuff on your page. Of course, I didn't end up using this on my page, but it is the color that I want because it matches the dress of the little girl. No, the mom and the girl, actually. So yeah. Okay, so let's see if I can remember how to do this. Oh my gosh, it's been an age. Do we start with the center? I think we start with the outside and roll in. Oh, I should probably ink both sides, actually. Yeah, because then after this, I'm going to clean up my desk. And I hope it's not too bright. Gosh, I hope everything's not getting washed out. I don't know. Yeah, I'm going to clean up my desk after this. Wash my hands really well. Maybe I'll have a bite to eat. I don't know. It's getting late. We're like 2.5 hours in this project. I don't know. Of course, you're only seeing the hands-on time, the time that I've spent like pulling materials or running over and cutting something, or, you know, it adds up. Time adds up. But this is fun. This is fun. I figure this is a great cause. It's a card that my daughter can use. It's got a... I always think it's more fun to make a card like for an occasion in the moment rather than for some hypothetical situation that might arise. I mean, I have a whole armoire full of hypothetical cards. So this is kind of fun. It's kind of fun when you know the card is going to get given, and then, you know, I think ultimately we make cards. I think we ultimately are a little bit selfish with our card making. At least I feel like I am, because it's like I don't know. I love to think about the like the recipient, and you know what they're gonna think about it and all of that. I'm wondering if it might be better to roll this around a marker to help kind of get it going, and then kind of help bend the cardstock a little bit. So back during the pandemic, I did a video. I don't know if you saw it or not, but it was, I had gone through all my scraps. I'm just rolling this up from the outside in. I'd gone through all my scraps, and I had cut them down to, well, first I went through my scraps and I made a bunch of collage backgrounds. And I think we called them, I think they were the serendipity backgrounds. I have a whole video on that. I also went through my scraps and I trimmed down everything. I trimmed down all the pieces like to 3 by 4 and 4 1/4 by, or 4 by 5 1/4, so that I would have all these card bases. I'm gonna use hot glue here, but you do you. And so I had all of these lovely little backgrounds, and so I made a bunch of those. Oh, no, what I did, here's what I did. Now that I'm thinking about it, I remember. Now see, that's just a sweet little flower. Okay, we'll do it again. So again, you can just cut a spiral out of cardstock. And it will look great. So yeah, during the pandemic, I had a huge like crate full of scraps. They're all in hanging file folders, divided by color. And I went through, I took all the solids and I cut them down to, if they're big enough, 4 1/4 by, no, 4 inches by 5 1/4. So they would be layering size. And I put them in a little bin divided by color. Just like a little tiny bin. And then I took my smaller pieces of cardstock and I trimmed them to 3 by 4. And then if they were smaller than that, I didn't keep them. But I took all the pattern paper scraps and I collaged with them, and I made tons of collage backgrounds that were all 4 inches by 5 1/4, so they would be like standard A2 card bases, or liners for standard A2 card bases. And I've been picking away and using those backgrounds ever since. And so ever since then, I've trimmed all background pieces to that size, or to 5 by 7 if I think that if it's big enough to. And I just keep it in my card making cart. So my card making supplies are always ready to go. Now you could get fancier with this, and you could shape the little petal leaves and stuff, but I don't think you really need to. I think that's just sweet. That just looks fine. Okay, let's do a little bit of glue on the little end of there. Does anybody have these dies, or is this just completely not even relevant? Maybe I'll show you how to do it with in case you're like, Lindsay, I have no idea what you're talking about with the circle thing. Okay, why don't I do just a little circle and I can show you. I need to find a thinner piece of paper. Use like a lighter weight cardstock for this. You know what? Let me just pop the center out of this. I'll do it out of this because this is a pretty light cardstock that I used. And I don't really have a need for this, so let me just pop the center out of that. Oh, look, a pretty frame I can use for something. Who knows if I will. Okay, so what you do, you want to start off with a circle. Decorative scissors or regular flat scissors, it doesn't matter. And then you're going to cut a spiral. I mean, seriously, do it with scallop scissors and have like a little bit of fanciness to it, or just do it with your regular scissors and not have fanciness. It's still going to look cute. Okay, so this is seriously just a spiral. Now, if I do want to do some inking, I can do that. Why don't we do it? We'll see how it looks. I mean, seriously, you can take a little more time than I am, but I'm just trying to give you an idea, because I don't want you to think she's using these fancy dies like a millionaire, and I'm here with a cardstock circle like she's telling me I can do, and this looks like hot trash. I don't want you to think that I'm giving you hot trash advice. So, okay. Now keep in mind, I could have, you know, spent a little more time with that, but all right, so I'm going to roll it around my marker just to kind of help the cardstock bend a little bit. That's just going to help this like pre-roll. Ah! You don't need no fancy dies. No, we don't. They're nice, but we don't need them. All right, now I am going to just roll this up, just like I did with my fancy die. And it's just going to, see, I don't know how well the camera's picking this up. I'm literally just rolling this up from the outside of my spiral to the inside. Now this is going to require an envelope box and probably hand delivery or a decent, oh, kind of looks like a pencil shaving, or a decent type of like rigid mailer. Okay, so now I'm going to take that center part, you know how it kind of makes like a little, because it's the inside of the circle, so it's like a little tab. I'm going to put a good blob of hot glue. Don't burn your hands off. I have asbestos fingers after all these years of crafting. Just going to hold it for a minute while it grabs all those layers. I put a good sized glob in there so it will grab those layers. I probably could have used a little bit more, to be honest. Now I did this with no practice. Haven't done it in like 10 years, but oh gosh, that glue needs to dry a little bit better. Okay, it's still drying, but look, that's still a sweet little rose. That's still a sweet little rose. A little bit less, it's still drying. I probably needed a little bit more glue. Let's sneak a little more glue in there as we don't burn our hands off. You can do this better. I know you can. You're not a hot mess like I am. All right. You could also drop a little pearl in the center if you want to be fancy, because, you know, we like to be fancy here. Okay, so there you look how sweet, and you can obviously make this whatever size you want. If you want fancy petals, use decorative edge scissors, but I think that's just as cute as this. It's got a little bit more of a modern flair, and of course you can do it smaller, bigger, whatever size you want, because it's your scissors, your hands, your creativity. So have fun with that. Make a few little flowers to embellish with, and maybe cut out a few little leaves, whatever, and we'll see you after we've cleaned up our mess and washed our hands and gotten ready to assemble this thing. It's assembling time. I've had a nice little break and I've picked up my workspace for the most part. And I'm going to just use a little bit of wet glue to stick down those die cuts. And I'm actually going to set my card base aside for a moment because I kind of want to work on this panel and then adhere that to the base with some foam tape. So I'm a little glue challenged. I'm not going to lie. I do struggle with gluing dainty things, but this isn't too dainty. I can get the leaves with this. This is just, I think I have matte Mod Podge in here, and the reason I use this is because those fine tip applicators, they always, I think I don't use them enough, my glue enough, so it like always seals shut on me. So with matte Mod Podge, I feel like it bonds well enough. And it always comes out, it's liquid enough to always come out of the tube fine, and it doesn't leave a snail trail if I need to like pick up the thing and move it at all, which I inevitably do. Hopefully that's where I intended to have it, I think. And then I can take a stamp mount and just kind of lay that down on there while I set it up to dry. Maybe I'll grab a rag and just blot off some of the excess glue while I'm at it. I prefer to use a rag to a paper towel just so it doesn't get lint. I know, I'm a mess. What can I say? Hey, there's plenty of other places you can go if you want a perfect card making tutorial. Honestly, I don't know why you're still watching. There's all kinds of places you can go to watch card making tutorials with current product you can still buy. You see? And I highly recommend you checking those channels out. Let's see, I think I want to have this one like this. Okay. Now, let's figure out where things, I think I'm going to have that kind of in the middle there, maybe even up a little bit. I kind of like that actually centered. Set that there just so I don't glue that where I don't want it. Then I think I want the new baby to be kind of up here but pinned with these little safety pins. So I'm probably going to have to poke a couple holes in there. Let's see, how do I want it to go? I've never used a safety pin to attach something to a project. I could have it so it's like, I could just have it so it's kind of like threaded into the safety pin. And then I don't even have to poke it through. I think that might be the way to do it. Oh yeah, I think that's the way to do it. And I'll just hot glue that down. And actually, instead of ironing it like on an iron, what I did with this was I used my radiator was on, my register's on, so I just, it's one of those oil-filled radiators. I just used that to kind of pull the stuff across and straighten it out a little bit. Yeah, I think that works. I think that works all right. Okay, so what I think I'm going to do is just do a little bit of hot glue in the center. This twill tape is thick enough that it shouldn't, like, the glue shouldn't seep through it or anything. There, then I can glue that down on the bottom. Glue it at each end, and I can even wrap the thing around to the back, I think. I do want to catch the safety pin in the glue though, so that it will keep it, it will stay right where I want it to go. Sorry for if it looks awkward the way I'm filming this. I just wanted to keep everything in frame and not burn my hands off. There. Oh, I think that's cute. I'll just glue that around to the back. Might as well. Then I won't have to deal with fraying. For the adhesive I'm going to use to put this panel onto my card, I'm going to use thin foam tape. So I'll just go ahead and put a few strips of that. I'm not going to take the liner off till I'm ready to stick it down, but I'll just go ahead and get some of that on there. Now I'm going to be putting some other trim at the bottom, so I'll wait to put any more foam tape on the bottom. Oh, so cute already. And I'll probably pop that up a bit as well. But let's get our raveled rose trim. I decided I would go with a yellow. I thought that was pretty, and it would be a nice little contrast with our little pink flowers. And I did die cut some leaves out of the scrap, I had two of these. This was the leftover from one of the dies there, so I had two of these. So I cut a bunch of these little Tim Holtz leaves from one of the little flower sets I showed you, and just use the scrap. So that's something you can do too. If you've got leftover pieces from a project, rather than just throw it away, how do I get into this? Rather than just throw it away, you can die cut things out of the scraps, like little die cut things like buttons or postage stamps, or how do I get into the end of this? Good golly. Where's the end? We're just going to take the whole thing off the skein here. I think it's only like a yard or two. Yeah, it's like 1 yard. I probably won't wrap this around the back because it is so bulky. I'll probably just go like that. I'll trim it once I get everything situated. I think it's pretty. Yeah, that'll work nice. Okay, I'm gonna do some of that double-sided tape on the back of this, and also a few little dabs of hot glue, because the hot glue can act as a dimensional adhesive as well. I like to tear this rather than cut it because it just makes your scissors so sticky. I just let the glue set up a little bit before I stick it down, and it gives me a little bit of dimension. They say you can store your hot glue sticks in the freezer to reduce stringing, but my glue is down in my basement where it's pretty cold most of the time, so I don't have an issue with the stringing too badly. But another thing that reduces stringing is that when your project's all done, blast it with a heat tool for a couple seconds, and that should take care of the stringing. I hope that doesn't alter my colors of my markers. I'm centering it up for the most part. Pretty. Yeah, I like that. I like that kind of like it's growing out of the, like the branch is growing out of the roses. I don't know if many card makers use hot glue on their projects, but I really like to. I think it's a great idea. I can either fold that back or trim it. Actually, I might just fold it back. It's not as bulky as I thought. Yeah, I'm going to do that. That way we don't have to worry about fraying at all. I'm glad I left a little bit of extra space. Ooh, that's hot. And then I'll just put foam tape kind of in the middle. This is thin. I think this is from either from Gina K or Simon Says Stamp. Probably Simon Says Stamp. It was called like the Big Mama tape roll or something like that. All right, so now we have these little flowers. Let's see. Oh, I could evenly space them. Oh, I had a brainstorm. The baby's name begins with an N, and so I thought I would cut out the N from here. Oh, great, it's right next to the side, too. I need my paper scissors here. Gotta love these very precious papers. But it makes you use them and not waste them, right? I'm not sure what N is for. N is for something. N is for, I don't know, taking notes. N is for, I was going to say knowledge. That would be a K. Where did you go to school, Lindsay? N is for, I don't know, but I like that. I think it's cute. I'm going to stick that in here somewhere. Oh, do I want to, I was trying to, oh, you know, I made a couple different types of flowers because I didn't know if I wanted to mold to match or not. I kind of like that spaced out evenly. I also kind of like that one. No, I think I like them all the same type of flower. Yeah. I like realism in my fantasy fairy worlds, apparently. I don't know, I'm not someone that usually does symmetry, and I have a lot of symmetry going on already. I'll zoom in a little bit here. But then again, I think it kind of looks good. Actually, I kind of like it. I'm going to go with it. I'm going with it. Don't get super, you know, fussy. Just go. Sometimes I'm just like, go with the first thing that works. Go with the first pattern paper that will work. Go with the first color that will work, because, you know, you can just, honestly, usually your first instinct is the best instinct, I think. I mean, I don't know, it might just be the easiest, laziest thing to do, but I think a lot of times it's actually, you know, you keep looking, and you don't find anything that's as good as the first thing you thought of. But like with papers, nobody's going to know what other papers you have, so it's there, you know, you might be like, oh, I could use this paper, could use that paper. The person you're giving your project to is not going to know that you had, you know, another paper that would have worked just as well, that was just as pretty. They're not going to know that. And they probably wouldn't even care. It's not even probably something that they would even have on their radar. Alright, so I cut a bunch of these little leaves out of the same paper. So I'm going to, oh yeah, I'm just going to glue some of those in there. I think that's going to be really cute. The bigger ones I'm going to save for decorating the outside of the envelope, I think, because they're way too big. But the two smaller sizes are going to work really well for the card front. And these are great little leaves. I have used that die set before, but not much because of how tiny they are and how friggy it is to cut that many little things. I like this medium-sized one. But, you know, if you are looking for kind of like a little mindless project when, you know, you've got a bunch of paper scraps and you got some dies, you cut out a bunch of leaves out of your green cardstock scraps, cut out a bunch of, and these are like scraps of scraps. They're not even like, these are out of scraps that I wouldn't keep this scrap, right? Unless I was going to use it for a stencil. This actually would make a pretty stencil. But yeah, I wouldn't be keeping a scrap like that. So by being able to use it and make something useful that I would go back for, that's great. I would do the same thing with like cardstocks, like cream and white cardstock scraps and die cut buttons from them. That said, I have so many buttons that I don't really need to do that. But still, if you're mailing a card, you don't want to put a real button on it because it's going to incur extra postage. Or postage due, or you're going to send something postage due, which is so embarrassing. I've done that before. It's like, hey, thinking of you, that'll be 35 cents, please. And it's like, I swear the postage is like arbitrary sometimes, because I had made a bunch of artsy-fartsy cards. Generally, I don't sell things. But I had so many and people wanted to buy them, so I'm like, okay, I will sell some of the artsy-fartsy cards. And a bunch of them went out. I took them to the post office, had them mailed, everything was fine. And most of them went out there just fine. And then I had one customer, and she's like, I had to pay $6 to get this because they said postage was due. And it's like, I took it to the post office. What is going on? So, and then I had one come back to me with postage due. It's like, I took it to the post office. Why didn't you guys just charge me the right amount? That's why I brought it there. I wasn't just mailing it from my house. I think I might have mailed some from my house because after I went to the post office and I had it weighed and they told me how much it was, they said I could mail it from my house. And I'd much rather do that, except then you don't get tracking. But yeah, I do not like shipping things. A lot of people after my craft room cleanup video, they're like, why don't you just sell some mystery boxes to people? And it's like, because that involves me going to the post office, and I'm very lazy, and I would rather just give it away locally. Because once you involve, and that's something, like once you involve, if you're really trying to get some work done and get some stuff cleaned up, once you involve selling in the equation, it's going to slow you down. And, oops, I didn't burn myself, but I thought I was going to. And you can pretty much guarantee it's going to take you twice as long as you think it will, and you're going to earn half as much as you think you will. And then you have to look at those numbers and see, is it really worth it, in my opinion, to sell art and craft supplies, used art and craft supplies. Hey, I love to buy used art and craft supplies. I've gone to people's houses before and bought art supplies. That one looks too small. Maybe I need to do a bigger one there. Or add another one in, maybe that. It's like I hate to not use these after cutting them because it's kind of tedious. So the other thing is, if you are going to pre-cut a bunch of things, you'll need a system so that you can actually find them when you want to use them. Oh, I think that's really cute. Maybe I'm getting overboard with the leaves. Maybe that one's too much. Well, it's too late now. I'm sure there are non-hot glues that will work just as well for this. I like my hot glue though. Or tools that you could pick up these tiny little things with so that you don't risk burning yourself if you don't have asbestos fingers like I do. My asbestos fingies. I was taking a break. I had had my lunch and I was just kind of chilling. And Maisie was heading out. She's like, did you finish that card yet, Mom? It's like, nope, taking a break. Like, geez, feel like I'm employed by not self. Get in there. Get in there. Stop sticking to my finger. Alright, I think that's pretty freaking adorable. Now, we did not use any of the baby bottles. Do we want to use a baby bottle? Oh, these baby bottles that I have kept for so long. I don't know. You know, and that's the other thing, like once you go through the process of, oh, it's kind of a cute little button, but I don't think it really goes. You know, sometimes you're like, oh, should I keep it? Should I not keep it? Once you get through a process of doing that and then actually having the opportunity to use that product, you can decide whether it's something you actually were going to use or not. And basically what I'm doing is I'm just saying, is this gonna enhance this? Is it gonna make it better with or without it? I know you guys can't answer me. I mean, I don't think it's bad. Okay, there's a clear one. It's probably the least obtrusive. I don't like the white. I think the white is too bright. Yellow, it's too bright maybe. I'm going to go ask my daughter Lila what she thinks on that score before I glue it down. But let's put it on the card base. What is that? There we go. Oh, that's going to be so sweet. All right, let's zoom that out a little bit. That's going to be sweet. Okay, let's get this on the card base. I'm going to go up and confer with Lila, and we will see where we are at. A little pokey tool is handy for getting the backs off of these. There's my pokey tool. I can get these at the Dollar Tree. I actually really like these. You get 2 in a pack. And you get a skinny one and a thicker one. I use a thicker one more than anything, but they're also really good for like when you die cut things, like those leaves, like this, the especially dainty things, like the thing on the front. There's the holes in the back of those dies so that you can poke out the the pieces without tearing them. And they work really well for that, but they're also good for peeling these backs off. Goodness gracious. Whoops, there goes my glue. See, I am a mess when it comes to glue. Not only can you find other card makers that have that use current products that you can actually buy now. Oh, dog hair. They also edit this boring stuff out. This is not a half-ass card. This is a whole-ass card, but this is probably a half-ass video. What can I say? Okay. Oh, I think that's absolutely adorable. All right. We're going to figure out about the baby bottle. I'll be back after I talk to Lila, and then we're also going to make an envelope box for this. So, oh, there's so much excitement to come. All right, Lila said, yes, definitely baby bottle. So we did the clear one right here. So my instincts were good. I know, because she's 20, and 20-year-olds are very stylish. So now I want to add a little bit of glitz and glamour. I think the first thing I want to do is do the little, she has like a little crown on. I'm going to look at the, it looks like there's just like a little crown or something. And actually, if I take out the insert, I might be able to see it a little bit better. I mean, it's like a vine, but I think I'll do that with silver. I think that would be really cute. This pen is also super, like, opaque. There, that's kind of cute. Maybe I'll do the little string on her waist with that silver as well. And then I'm going to use some glitter on the wings. This here is a glitter pen. It's by the company Grisaille, and they do colored pencils, but they also have, I think their business started by doing these tutorials where they would sell a, I think you'd get like a video, and you'd get a photo, you'd get printed on your art paper would be like a grayscale painting, like a grayscale photograph, and then you do your colored pencil over top. And it was just, it was kind of a neat idea because it would show you kind of values and stuff. So especially if you didn't have a lot of experience, you know, drawing and shading. I just want to see what that, oh yeah, so you can kind of see it's clear and it's got iridescent sparkle to it. So yeah, so they made this to go on over their, to stick over a colored pencil. I don't know how much, I haven't really used it before other than just to see what it was. It has a little smell to it, but nothing bad. Hopefully it doesn't interact with the memento. No, it doesn't seem to be. Well, that's good because never know. Oh, that's pretty. The nice thing about something like this too is if you had a streaky coloring job and you wanted to kind of disguise the fact that you had a streaky coloring job, you could do the glitter over it, and it would just kind of scatter. It would scatter the optics a bit so that you wouldn't necessarily know. I've actually used this little wand that comes with it when I was swatching it out, like when I first got it, and it's fine. It's kind of like a lipstick wand type thing. See? It's got a little bit of a smell to it. It smells like Mod Podge, actually. I'm just going to put that back in here. Well, that's kind of a neat little thing. I mean, probably do the same thing with glue and glitter. Make your own glitter glue or something. I don't think it's like, oh, it's pretty though. All right, there's our beautiful card. Now I might do some decorating on the inside, but first I want to make the envelope box for our project. I'm gonna leave the glue gun glued in. I'm gonna leave the glue gun on because I think I might use that. Because sometimes when I use double-sided adhesive, it will kind of pop open, you know. All right, so this is, I haven't used this in ages, so I'm probably going to be really awkward and slow about it. My apologies, but you come here for the reality. So this is a Crafter's Companion. Oh, look, this was the same brand that had those Flower Fairy stamps. This is a Crafter's Companion envelope box tool. Actually, I think this might have been one of the first things they came out with. I think they might have come out with something called the Crafter's Companion, and that was this thing, Envelope Creator. Anyway, I haven't used this in ages. I probably should have practiced before I turned on the camera. So I want to have a 3/4 inch deep box, and I want it to be 7.5 by 5.5, so it will hold the 5.25 by 7.25 card. And so I'm starting off with a piece of cardstock that I've trimmed to 11.25 inches square. I believe you can still get this product, but I have not seen it. I'm not even sure where I got this from, to be honest. And I think there's a scoring tool for it, but I don't know. I don't know where that is. I'll just use my bone folder. Okay, so I think you... hold on, I need to refamiliarize myself with this. I'll be right back. Okay, I think I remember how to do this. So we use position H. We use position 1 and 3, and that's like here we have 1, 2, 3, 4. So this, so a flat envelope you just use 1. A like a 1/4 inch envelope you'd use position 1 and 2, 3/4, 1 and 3. Or maybe it's 1/2 inch and then 3/4 inch. I think that's it, 1/2 inch and 3/4 inch. So, and then what you're going to do is you're going to use H and L, the lines H and L that are down here. So it's not that confusing. Let me just double check my sides. H and L. Don't let me forget H and L. Okay, so we're going to nestle it there. We're going to score on H. Actually, I'm going to use the end of my Dollar Tree tool. We're going to do H. I hope this paper's thick enough. If not, this will be a practice. And then L. Whoa, that looks really thick. H and L, that looks really thick. Okay. And am I going to do that on every side? Wait a minute. No. No, I'm going to do H and H. Okay, H and H. We're going to disregard that other one. And then I'm going to do L and L, I think. I'm telling you, there are professional YouTubers out there. All right, we're going to do L and L. Really? This seems weird. Okay, L. And L. We're going to do H. and H. I hope this works. And then we're going to do L and L. L and L. Okay, and then I think what I need to do, yeah, I think that's gonna be right. Now I need to snip. Let's see, I need to snip there and there. It's coming back to me. That will be the side, one of the sides. Oh yeah, this is coming back to me now. Oh my gosh. And here, I'm just thinking, what was the correct? Okay, yeah, I'm just gonna snip to the first line because I have that little double line. I'm not gonna worry about that. Somebody wants to fault me for my less than perfect envelope. Well, whatever. They can fault me. Half-assed envelope, whole last card. Okay, then fold these up. Yeah, this is cool. I really should use this thing more often. If nothing else, just for making like boxes to put gift cards in or something. Yeah, sweet. That's gonna work just fine. All right, I think I just figure out where that would, oh, you know what? I probably should have left the tabs on the inside. Well, that's going to be inside. I'll fold those over, I guess. Or I could just cut them off. Maybe I just need to cut off these little triangles. Sure, there's lots of skipping by this portion of the video, but hey, maybe you have this tool and you don't know how to use it, and you're like, oh yeah, it was so complicated, I never figured it out, but now it's like, oh, Lindsay showed me the way. Lindsay knows what to do. Oh, look, you can't even see that area. Okay, so I want to trim this off, I think. That's probably a fancy way to do it, but that's alright. Alright, I'm gluing this baby down. I think. Am I ready to glue it? I think I am. And I'm using hot glue because I want it to not pop open. And even if it's a little bit crooked or a little like not quite square, it's a little bit bigger than my cards, so I'll have room to wiggle. All right, hey, that's all right. Should have folded all these parts though before I started to assemble. I think probably the flaps are supposed to be on the side. I mean, you don't have to have the flaps actually and cut those right off, but let me just see if it's better with or without, because I can only cut them off once. Oh, I like the tab. I think that having the that's cute. All right, let's see if it fits. It should. There's our card. Oh, how cute. Actually, I don't know if the tabs are really that necessary. That's cute. Could do without the dog hair though. I'm cutting them off. I don't think I need them. I could glue them down, but I think I don't need them. On the bottom it makes sense because it gives you a little extra structure, but you know, attention to the double score line. Alright, so I think I might want to do something, maybe I'll do like a little string closure, you know, you have like the little string and the two little buttons or something. I think that might be kind of cute, and that way this box can be reused. Or I could always just put a magnet or something. I also want to do kind of a, oh, you know what I could do? Okay, let me get my round paper punch. I'll be right back. I have an idea. Okay, I have cut a big circle out of a scrap of cardstock that I was practicing that embossing on. I had a bunch of that, so you can kind of see there that scrap. And I thought, well, you know what? I'm going to make a closure so that we don't have to use adhesive since it's going to be hand delivered. So I'm going to start by poking a hole in the center. I'm also going to do a little bit of inking using some ink that matches the stuff we've already done. So I'm just going to use that new Sprout. I'm just going right from the ink pad. We get a lot going on this, so I don't need to make it any more complicated than that. Okay, now I am going to put a brad through the center here where I poked the hole. I'm also going to poke a hole in the center of the top flap to be able to put that brad through. And oh, before I do that, I have a piece of baker's twine that I am going to tie around the prongs. And this will be our little closure. Okay, and that will give a little space too. That will make a little space. This is just a regular office supply store paper fastener. And you could put a little tape over this if you're worried about the prongs poking anyone, but I don't think that should be too much of an issue. And then obviously to close it, well, no, obviously I put a little brad here at the bottom. This is one that I did some marbling on like many ages ago. I don't know if I have a video on that, but I did a tutorial at least on my blog. And make sure I have enough room in there for that to be out. You could have make a little paper donut, like punch a circle of paper. I did that, I didn't like the way it looked, so then to close it, you could just wrap it around like that, or you could wrap it up and around a couple times. It's cute. I love it. But I want to decorate the top a little bit more. So I was thinking that we could use those paper flower embellishments. You can either use like that. I was going to just use that one, but then I ended up with a couple extras of the smaller ones, so I think I'm just going to cluster those together. Going to be generous with the glue because it's on the outside of the envelope, so it might take a little more wear and tear. And the brad doesn't need to move, so that's all right. Oops, oh, well, I guess there's plenty of glue on that. I'm going to use these other leaves as decoration as well. Might as well, right? We cut them and they all match, so I love to use the excess up on the inside of the card or on the decoration on the envelope. I always feel like such a klutz when it comes to gluing, though. I kind of feel like I put too much on there, but let's do another leaf right there, maybe. Craft from a Glue Challenge crafter. Doing her best. Okay, I think it was better with fewer leaves, but we're committed now. Probably was better before when I just left it flat. But I don't want to put these away. Let's call a spade a spade. I don't want to put this stuff away, so I want to use it up. I'm going to cut this one down a little bit. There! Oh my gosh, I think that's really cute. Okay, so we'll let that cool. Oh, I think that's adorable. That would be really sweet for Mother's Day. I think this card could be cute for Mother's Day. All right, so now I'm just kind of thinking of cute things that we could do for a to and from. We could put that on the back, but I don't think I want to glue that down because that could be difficult to write on. I just thought that was just really sweet. And then we've got some of these scraps here from the envelope. I love to make the envelope match, the card and the envelope match. And then I've got these, I don't know, I just picked out a few just little papers I thought would be cute. Like just little, I have so much collage-y stuff. So I thought, oh, what the heck, let's decorate the inside of the card too. Well, this was K & Company paper. That's what that was. Yeah, let's just do a little border. We could do a little border there. Oh, now the double-sided adhesive can come out. I can't believe this is the first time getting this thing out today. And I like that it just says all the what? All the what? Who could say? All the things, all the good things. And is that weird to put in there? Maybe that's weird to put in there because it looks like there's places you're supposed to write things. Or I could just put this in there. No, I don't like that. I want to have something to write on that is cute, that's easy. Oh, maybe I could take one of the, yes, I could trim out some of that and put that in there for a space to write, I think. Yeah, that would be kind of pretty, actually. All right, here we go. We got to do some hand cutting, which is not my favorite thing in the world to do, but we will do our best. This was just a you know what, I'm just going to go and do the center braid area because some of this this cardstock cracked. It didn't crack perfectly, and I could just use this whole center piece and it would be perfectly cut out, but that is not the hand we are dealt today, friends. It's gonna be a little wonky. It's gonna be a little wonky, but that's fine. It's gonna be a little inked. Oh, I don't know. Now I'm thinking that maybe I shouldn't have put anything on the inside. I feel like there needs to be some clear... I really like the idea of that. I really like the look of this. But... it's not a great place to write, you know? I mean, I would write on it, but as someone who's not a card maker, they might think it's kind of strange. I don't know. I gotta think on this. Alright, I thought on it, I pulled out that, luckily the adhesive hadn't been sitting long enough so I was able to pull it right out, so it's just going to have that little strip to match the envelope, and that's how that's going to be. So let's take a look at our beautiful envelope. This is going to be hand delivered, so it probably doesn't need like a little placard on it or anything, but I'm going to open it up, put the card inside, plenty of room. Close it up. I think this, I really like I need to use that envelope box more, I think. That is cool. Maybe, I might need to make a little more room on this brad. But I think that's absolutely adorable. I hope that you enjoyed this long card making tutorial. I hope you found it fun. Maybe you got some cards made too. If you did, let me know what you were doing while you had this tutorial on. Were you watching with bated breath? Were you organizing your studio? Were you, was this like totally dashing any thoughts you ever had about being a card maker? Because you thought, wow, that's way too much crap to be dealing with. Did you learn something new? Let me know that too. Thank you so much for watching. Like I mentioned, if you saw anything here that looked good, you might try eBay or Etsy, see if somebody has like those flower fairy stamps for sale. They're so much fun. They're my favorites. So sadly, you know what you could do though? I thought about this. You could look up, Google coloring pages, like flower fairy coloring pages or something like that. You could probably find some images like that you could print out smaller. Then when you go to print them out as like 25% or 4 to a page or something like that so that you can make them smaller. And they'd be perfect for cards. So just because you can't get the stamps doesn't mean you can't make something very similar. So see what you have, use what you have fun, and we'll see you next time. Happy crafting! Bye!